I have here the most sought after and expensive melodica you can buy. It's a rare beast, but you'll occasionally find one on eBay where they go for over $3,000. And that's second hand. So what makes this instrument the most revered of all melodicas? And is it really worth so much money? Let's find out by comparing it to this. This is the cheapest melodica I could find on Amazon at just $10.99 including postage. Let's get started. Okay, before we go any further, let's do a blind test. Do you prefer the sound of melodica A? Or melodica B? Okay, let's head to the studio. Hey, Darren here from MelodicaWorld, helping you achieve your creative potential with the best tips and tricks from melodica players. So if that's your sort of thing, consider subscribing. At any point in the video, check out the show notes in the description below where I'll link to all the gear I'm using. Okay, let's get started. So what instruments are we comparing today? We're going to look at the cheapest melodica I could find on Amazon. This is a generic Chinese model at $10.99 versus the all-wooden, all-Italian, $3,000 Victoria Vibrandoneon. Wow, that is quite a mouthful. Let's get acquainted with these instruments. This is a 32 key melodica. It was the cheapest of all the cheap melodicas I saw on Amazon. On the UK listing they called it a Juvali 32 key melodica. But I've also seen the exact same one listed as a shoe towel on Amazon US for $3 more. In reality, the only branding is on the case with just one word: melodica. So what can I say about this melodica? It's pink, it's plastic, and it has 32 keys. Also, the keys are numbered. The C key is number 1, the D key is number 2, and so on. And it also has the Do, Re, Mi system on the keys, which might be helpful if you're learning that method. I wonder why they didn't also print the letter names A, B, C, D. Surely that would be most helpful. There's a strap on the back and a moisture release button. Although it looks similar on the outside, it's different to standard melodica designs like the Hohner 32 or Yamaha P37D. Once you've removed the screws from the back, the top flips up so you can remove the keyboard section. There's no separate reed cover, it's built into the outer casing, so the reeds are exposed as soon as you remove the keyboard. They're the same type of metal reeds you'll find in a harmonica. When I took this out of the packaging, my first thoughts were, well really, I was quite amazed that you could get so much for so little money. It's all shiny and new and it comes in a pretty little case and it all works. So what does it sound like? Well, this was the surprising bit for me actually. I quite like it. The tone is warm and sort of muffled, and the keyboard, it's even and easy to play. The attack, it isn't as fast as like a Yamaha, and you'll have to work a lot harder if you want to play faster pieces. But it does sound roughly in tune. I do have to warn you here though. I haven't had this instrument long enough to test it out, but melodicas at this price point are fitted with the cheapest reeds. This means they'll go out of tune quicker than the better quality melodicas out there. So if you're not going to play that often, it won't matter. But if you are playing a lot, it's time to start practicing those melodica tuning skills. I should point out there is a good side to having cheap melodica reeds. Because they're thinner, they're more flexible, so it's easier to bend notes on them, especially in the lower registers. That's great for playing blues music, jazz, anything where you want to get that extra bit of expression. And of course, it's probably the ideal instrument to practice your tuning skills, because if you mess it up and break a reed or two, it's only going to be another tenner to get a whole new replacement instrument. Let's hear some sounds. So how does it compare with our other melodica, the Vibrandoneon? Well, for a start, the Vibrandoneon is made entirely of wood by Italian accordion makers. It's much bigger than our pink friend. Actually, it's so big that it's not that comfortable to hold. It comes with this gigantic metal mouth tube too. I had to swap mine out for a shorter piece of metal pipe, otherwise the whole thing would just be far too big for me to handle. It's made in Italy by a high-end accordion company called Victoria, in the accordion capital of the world, Castelfidardo. I bought my first one, the original Mark I, around 2007, when I was quite near the beginning of my melodica journey. I was so excited when I found out about it that I hopped on a plane the next day to pick one up directly from the factory. The one I'm looking at here in this comparison is the Mark II, which came out a few years later with a small redesign and a new, sleeker look. Unlike the pink melodica, which uses cheap harmonica-style reeds, this instrument uses much better quality accordion-style reeds made by the world-renowned Italian reed maker Claudio Binci. They differ from actual accordion reeds in that they're smaller and they're also resistant to moisture. Each reed is separately attached to the wooden reed block with beeswax before being tuned to concert pitch. But one of the reasons this instrument is so bulky is that it doesn't have just one set of reeds, it has two. So with the switch of a button you can play in octaves or in unison depending on what you specify when you order your instrument. As you'd expect from an accordion maker, the high quality keyboard is in a different class to everyday melodicas. The white notes are made from high quality plastic and the black notes from beautiful, highly polished dark hardwood. To me, the sound has a full accordion-like tone. The tone is rich and clean sounding. There's none of that harshness you'll find on normal melodicas, especially when you venture up into the higher registers. Let's have a listen. It does take more breath power to play a Vibrandoneon, which is because of the larger reed chamber. So when you're playing two or more notes at the same time, you'll be taking a lot of breaths. So be prepared for some hard work. The clean, high quality tone makes it perfect for playing classical music in ensemble with other players. It's also great for jazz and tango, wherever you need a solid, expressive accordion-like sound. I use my Vibrandoneon in classical compositions, often combining it with a string quartet. But to have this holy grail of melodica sound at your fingertips means making some sacrifices too. You'll most likely have to sell your car to afford one, and even if you do, the likelihood of even finding one of these for sale is quite slim. Also, it's heavy and it's bulky and it takes a lot of breath power to play, and the keys, they're quite short and quite stiff compared to a normal melodica. Add to that a problem that many owners of this instrument have experienced. It gets mouldy. Yes, possibly one of the biggest drawbacks of it being made entirely of wood. It's because condensation from playing collects in the reed chamber and it doesn't have a chance to dry out completely. You could compensate for this by taking off the cover after every time you play, but that is a lot of work and it's not really built for that. The case is solid wood and the top lifts off to reveal the mechanics underneath. This looks really good while you're playing and it gives you a brighter, louder sound should you need it. I use the topless technique sometimes when recording with my Irish ensemble because I need the sound to really cut through. Okay, so if you hadn't worked it out yet, melodica A from the blind test was the Vibrandoneon, and melodica B was the pink plastic instrument. I put together a little comparison test to see just how the cheapest melodica fares with the most expensive. I hope you like it. So what do you think? I've got to say, it's not actually that clean cut for me. On one hand, I love the handcrafted wooden Vibrandoneon. It's a work of art, and the tone and the expressive capabilities reflect this. It's going to keep its tuning. It will last a lifetime if you properly maintain it. It's a grown-up instrument and it takes musical refinement to the next level. But there's also something so fun about a cheap melodica. It's light and it's easy to play. It doesn't take much breath, and the cheap reeds are easy to manipulate, giving you an expressive sound. So what if it sounds a bit rough and ready? Isn't that the charm of a melodica? It's small enough to stick in your coat pocket and take to the park without worrying whether it's going to rain or not. I think ideally I'd want a combination of the two. I'd want the high quality reeds and the sound of a wooden case, but I'd want it in a small, fun, expressive package. But that's what led me to make my own melodicas. To me, this comparison demonstrates one thing quite clearly. Both instruments have their pros and cons. They're very different and they have their own sound, which is going to be suited to different musical styles. It's worth remembering that in all of this, it's you and your creativity that really matters. There's so many tools you can use to express your creativity, but if you make practice your main priority and you work on your technique and your musicality, you can make music on pretty much anything. Thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe and hit that bell if you haven't done so yet. And to see other videos, click or tap the screen. Until next time, MelodicaWorld, helping you achieve your fullest creative potential. See you soon.